is the city looks apart. Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay while we leave. Stay with me.
So it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway, do not do this at home.
I've been on the road, I've been doing shows. Now we in steak, remember sleeping on
I
the
need
floor.
a lot of attention to do what I'm doing. Welcome everyone, thank you for tuning in.
In the kitchen house, still trying to flip it out the stove. Rocking fake J's, praying that nobody knows. Watch him take my dog away, it was way too hard to stay composed. If I could see the light of day, all these
Crazy to me that I made that. It only took me 42 minutes to make a drink on stream. Just 42.
Die too young. 100 miles per hour, might crash, cause the good die young. Yeah, the good die young.
I don't like short hair, Nico. Bring back the long hair. It's actually really good. I have good news and I have How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. My name's Nico, and my mic volume is way too loud. How did that happen? I blame John Luke. I think John Luke probably got something. Now it's... Okay, hold on. How about now? How about now? There we go. That's a little bit better. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name's Nico. I go by Cointrick and Cointrick Twitch online, and today we're back behind the bar. I actually sort of have work that I need to do. I'm double dipping. I'm doing something I don't normally do on my bar streams. I'm gonna do some R&D on a cocktail that I'm sort of using for a competition. Not exactly. It's not exactly a competition. It's a wager? I don't know. It's a friendly competition, right? I don't actually win anything if I make the best drink, as far as I'm aware. But the competition itself is it's a friendly drinks competition between me and Sin City Bartender, whose real name is Jason. You guys have probably already seen him on TikTok. He does more like tailored mixology, meaning like making drinks that probably taste good, but they're really meant to look a certain way. They're supposed to be incredibly aesthetic. Like each drink is a work of art. Hello, is that Anti Times? Is that you, Ben? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, showing up on YouTube. I appreciate it. So he does more of that style of drink, and what I do is more like broken down empirical, just classics. Meaning like my drinks are just supposed to be very like bare essentials most of the time, with the exception of like whenever I make a drink that I saw on TikTok because 500,000 people were like, you should make it. I saw the TikTok video. Hey, sweet, cool. Well, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. So, Jason and I are doing 3 separate events where we're going to be making drinks, not side by side. We're going to be using an app called Ibble, and we're going to set up an event probably 2 to 3 weeks from now. We're going to set up an event. The way Ibble works, it's similar to TikTok insofar as like you can upload 60-second videos, but rather than stitching or duetting, each video begins a thread, and then anyone can reply to that video in that same thread. So what Jason and I are going to do is we're basically going to take turns uploading to the same thread to show you guys step by step how we're each making our cocktails. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do. I am trying to keep my cocktail down to like 1 gimmick. Amir Boyd, welcome. Thank you for tuning in and showing up on YouTube. How's it going? Didn't know you were on YouTube. I was waiting to speak in Twitch. Oh yeah, so there's another really weird thing. Some people on my team have they basically recommended that I limit chat on Twitch so that more people watch on YouTube, because once we hit the watch time that we need for monetization on YouTube, once we hit that, it'll make it a lot easier to do all of this full time and make everything kind of like self-sustaining. So in order to do that faster, we're limiting people talking on Twitch. You can probably see, actually, maybe not in front of you, but behind me, Jake, Knife Trick down there, he's on Twitch. You can talk there, but I turned on subs chat just because I didn't want everyone to be like, why isn't he talking to anybody? So yeah, I don't know how much longer I can put up with that, because I don't like shoehorning people and like herding people around. But yeah, for my drink, I'm trying to keep it down to 1 gimmick, and that gimmick is, well, I guess it's a combination of 2 gimmicks, really. So I have a pumpkin cream cold foam here that I've already made, and we're going to be putting out a couple of videos on how to make this at home yourself if you really, really want to. But to this, I'm going to add food-grade activated charcoal. And yes, before anybody asks, this is the same stuff that you use to brush your teeth with. Derived from coconut. It also neutralizes poisons, detoxifies, filters, exfoliates. This does a lot of things. I don't know what it's going to do in a cocktail aside from turn it black. So here we go. I'll give you guys an idea of what this looks like first. Just the pumpkin cream cold foam alone. This side. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to do picture in picture so you guys can still see this ugly mug. Your bar is really nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've worked very hard to make it this. But it also took me like 6 years, I think, to get it to look like this. Destin Productions, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. What's up, man? I'm underage, but I love watching your videos. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, there's no bar for entry to, no pun intended, to watch my videos. I understand that not everyone that watches them will be of age to drink, and that's fine, because a lot of the stuff that I talk about is helpful knowledge for anyone who will eventually drink, maybe, hopefully. Hopefully some of this stuff sticks, and if you ever decide that you do want to go out and get a drink legally, then you'll be one up on everyone else who, most people end up making an ass of themselves when they order their first drink. I really like it. It's very decorative. Yeah, it isn't. I mean, I wish it were more functional. Like, for example, I don't have a rail and I don't have an ice well. So every time I need, well, I have an ice maker back here, but I don't leave it running all the time, so I don't always have ice. So sometimes I'll be like, all right, we have everything we need. What are we missing? That's right. I don't have any ice behind my bar. Let me go get that. All right, let me show you what this stuff looks like, the pumpkin cream cold foam, before we add the activated charcoal. I feel like shot glasses would be more efficient for this. Yeah, there we go. We'll pretend like we're being really scientific about this. All right, let's turn those logos away just so that no one gets confused. And me wearing a gray shirt is not gonna help, so. Don't judge me. There we go. As you can see, completely clear. Not really anything in any of these yet. I'll show you what the cold foam looks like on its own first. There we go. It's a little under an ounce in that one. So yeah, I'll take this away, maybe easier to see. Move that out of the way. Yeah. Not very dark. It should take some color relatively easily. Now I gotta figure out how much of this I'm adding. Also, be careful if you have activated charcoal at home. It's like, I don't know how hard it is to clean because I haven't made a mess yet, because I've only used it one other time. But it does kind of look like printer toner ink. Alright. Black spoon, black powder. Let's start with one heaping. Lord! Okay, yeah, maybe that's too much. One mildly heaping spoon of this stuff. I'll try and not drop it and show this to you on camera one. There we go, that's the spoon that we're adding, and then we're gonna see how much darker it will make this. According to all sources, activated charcoal should have no discernible flavor. I find that hard to believe, but if it did taste like anything, I don't know what it would taste like. Oh yeah, that looks really cool actually. All right, moment of truth. One heaping bar spoon. What does it look like? Much spookier. But let's see if we can get it any darker than that really quick. I'm gonna do another heaping bar spoon. I did eventually just now. I spilled a little bit of it, and I don't have an overhead camera, so it doesn't look like very much, but as you can see, this stuff sticks to everything. It does seem to rinse off relatively easily though, so that's nice. Alright. it seems like because the carbon is somewhat, or the charcoal is somewhat porous, this is losing a little bit of water content, or it's getting thicker too as I'm making it. Alright, camera 2, what does this look like? I'm kind of hoping it just looks the same as the second one that we did. That is actually the consistency that I want. There we go. I haven't made a mess yet. It will happen, but not yet. It's a little bit darker, but it's kind of hard to tell the difference. Yeah, it's like maybe a shade darker. But basically what that tells me is that it's probably not going to be worth it for me to go like scoop, 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 and do like 5 scoops of activated charcoal to get this to turn black. It's probably going to be fine if it's just like that very dark gray. I think is probably going to be okay. So, now that I have these, time to do something I'm probably going to regret. This might suck. So, I'm not going to do a whole shot of these. Not for free, anyway. I am going to take one of these little syringes that I have, and I'm going to take a little bit at a time. We'll say 2 milliliters at a time, just to see if the taste is consistent, or the texture, because the other thing I don't want is for these to be chalky, which is something that I'm anticipating, or grainy. So, camera 2. Move you guys over here. Let's turn on that picture-in-picture. Alright. Alright, let me think about when I made this really quick before I put it in my mouth. Because this, I think it's supposed to keep for 1 to 2 weeks. And I made this last Thursday. So it should still be fine. It smells really good, actually. Oh yeah, actually that tastes great, to be honest. Nobody clipped that. Alright, let's see what these other 2 taste like, and I'm also going to see if there's any difference in the texture between the 2 that we added more activated charcoal to, because I may be able to do less than a mounded scoop and still get the result that I want if the texture of these isn't completely right. It shouldn't affect much. I'm hoping it doesn't. Okay. Oh, that does. It tastes so good. It reminds me of almost like a graham cracker sort of thing, like a really good graham cracker. All right. Bone apple tea. It is grainy. Like I can feel it between my teeth. It's not unattractive. And Deuce, I think is how that's pronounced. Welcome, thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean it tastes the same. My brain is telling me that it's a little bit more bland, but I think that might be psychosomatic. I think I just believe that because it looks different, it should taste different. It is grainy between the teeth. So let me try this one. This one should theoretically be chalkier, grainier, and drier, which is not what we're going for, but I do want to make sure. Close enough. Okay, cool. As long as I'm not offending anybody. Alright, bottoms up. Yeah, it's grainier. Kind of reminds me of, like right after you've brushed your teeth, but before you've like swished the toothpaste out of your mouth. It is sort of like that kind of graininess. I think this is almost perfect. So, a couple more tests that we're going to run. I have more of these, but I'm going to clean this one because I'm the only one that's going to use it. It says oral use only. We'll see how long that remains true. also gonna clean some of this stuff up just a bit. Let's get some more of this. Keep everything separate. You know what? I'm not in a hurry. I'll wait. It's so thick now. Okay. Close this up. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll like knock this over and it's gonna send black powder everywhere. A few tests I want to run. Okay. First, I want to see how these interact with water. They are soluble. They will go into solution if you agitate them, but I kind of want to see how well they maintain their shape if you insert it into water versus dropping it on the water versus trying to layer it over some water. So the easiest way to do that and see the difference is going to be to use a rocks glass. Let's get some water in here. Cool. Why water and not alcohol? Well, because I'm not made out of money. And also, water and alcohol have about the same relative density. If it were to go into solution in water, it should go into solution in alcohol. If I don't feel like it's going to have the consistency to keep its shape in here or to like layer off to the top, it will definitely not do it in alcohol. This is just a cheaper way to test it out. So, first things first, let's try the pumpkin. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and drop it in and see what it does kind of break up a little bit. It gets kind of cloudy. But also I'm like shooting it in there, so it is getting a little bit agitated already. That's less than ideal. Alright, the next test. Let's try it submerged. It looks interesting. What are you putting the charcoal in? So we have this right here. This is pumpkin spice cream cold foam. That's what we added the charcoal to, because I want to make a pumpkin spice cocktail, but I want it to be Halloween themed. So I was trying to figure out how to change the color, but right now I'm trying to see what I can get away with. Let's see if the charcoal behaves any differently. I don't think it will. It shouldn't. The only way I could make it behave differently now would be if I added something like agar-agar or egg whites to get it to sort of firm up. Hold on. That's going to be impossible for anybody to see. I do like that it gets cloudy, but I know it'll layer on top of a cocktail, like if I have ice. Let me see if it'll float really quick. I do need to grab ice to do this though, and oh, I actually have ice down here for once. Another thing I could do is I could make black ice. So let's see here. Do one thing. I have agitate everything. There we go. This worked when I used it for a cocktail, so let me see if it'll work on some ice water. So that is actually holding up relatively well. I think it's just because the ice is creating like a filter that is helping this stay upright. I imagine though, if I swirled it around. Oh, it still says relatively separated, so that's nice. I'm not used to using these, and I keep like just sending random stuff shooting across the bar. Shorts. Hold on. Short stack of pancakes. Welcome, thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. Are all drinks served on ice called on the rocks? I mean, yeah, but in general, when you order something on the rocks, it doesn't just mean over ice. In some very specific instances, it does mean in a rocks glass, which is what this kind of glass is. So like, if you ordered a martini on the rocks, a martini will normally come in a glass, not exactly like this. This is actually a Nicanora glass, but it'll come in like a stemware glass like this. If you order that on the rocks, they'll put it in a glass like this. They'll put it in a rocks glass. The difference between something being on the rocks, or the opposite of being on the rocks, is being served up. Remy, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it. Let me see. There's one other. I don't want this to take too long, but now that I've got this floating on here, I kind of want to see if I can draw on it. It doesn't not work, but it doesn't work very well. The other thing too is that I can't turn it to show you guys what it looks like. I can take a picture of it and show you the picture. Come on, focus, autofocus. That's basically what it looks like. My screen might be too bright, but I was trying to do a cheap version of a jack-o'-lantern. Probably revisit the way that I made the, and yeah, now it has turned the entire drink black. This is just a cup of water and ice. But I feel like that's probably what I'm gonna have to do for my gimmick. As for what cocktail I'm gonna put underneath it, I have no clue. I have no idea. I'm feeling something like campfire inspired. So maybe like a Oaxacan sour, or an improved Oaxacan old fashioned, which just means I want to be using mezcal. Which brings up another good point. I should get mezcal. There's one other test that I want to do, just because of my limited knowledge of chemistry. I want to see what'll happen if I try to spark the charcoal. This, by the way, is like, when I say don't do this at home, don't do as I do, this is one of those obvious situations. I'm going to be using an open flame, and I have no idea how it's going to turn out. Man, I remember Nico. He was such a good live streamer until that one live stream that he decided to light his bar on fire. Yeah, it's kind of what I thought. cool. It does spark. I don't know if the camera got it, or if you guys want to see me do that again. It does spark, but then I have to wash my hands afterwards. I feel like the biggest Halloween thing is like pumpkins, so I'm trying to figure out how to make a drink that is like more pumpkin themed. I'd like to not have to use an open flame. I do like the sparks. I feel like this is a bit aggressive, so it is actually probably blowing some of the charcoal out that way. I also... Yeah, don't set fire to your bar mats, but I was just making sure that it wouldn't light on fire if it was down there. If I made a flammable cream, if I did that, I'd have to use really high ABV alcohol. It might not even be worth it. So I'm gonna have to probably serve it in a rocks glass. Stirred cocktail in a rocks glass. I also, by the way, Jason and I are trying to design it. Oh, Monty, what's up? Hey, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. All subs, bits, tips, donations, and patrons go a long way to make sure that we can continue to do this full time. So thank you for that. Congrats on the badge, and use up those emotes here and in the Discord and everywhere on Twitch that you can. My personal favorite is to use the shook emotes and then either use the martini emote or the shots emote. But so Jason and I, we're trying to design cocktails, or at least I am trying to design a cocktail that I can also ask him to make. Because we're gonna be live for about an hour. It doesn't take long to make a single cocktail. Like, all of this was R&D, and I tested like a dozen different things. I liked a few results that we have, but that took me half an hour. So drinks take less time because you already know what you're going to be doing. Maybe some torched rosemary. I'm trying to figure out. No. Cinnamon? Torched cinnamon? Or just a cinnamon stick? Do I have any cinnamon sticks? I also don't want to have to ask Jason. I don't want to, whenever I design cocktails, I try to make them so that whoever wants to try to make them at home or at work, you're not going to need to go out and get anything super specific. This is different. You're going to need to get activated charcoal, but that's like one thing. So when I say that I'm trying to stick to one gimmick, that's what I mean. And I'm going to be making a pumpkin spiced cream. I'm not going to ask Jason to do the same thing. He can just make a regular sweet cream, which is really easy to do. You don't need any specialized machinery or anything like that. You can do it several different ways, but the way that I made mine is sweetened condensed milk, and then whole milk, and then vanilla extract. Or, yeah, that's how I made mine. You can also use half and half. You can not use vanilla extract. You can not use sweetened condensed milk. You can use an immersion blender. There's lots of different ways to make the same thing. So I'll probably just let him make it that way, his. The way I turned it into a pumpkin spiced sweet cold cream foam thing is that I added actual real pumpkin puree and then some chai masala spices, like powdered chai masala spices, which is why it smells really good. It also tastes really good, but you kind of lose that a little bit once you add the charcoal. It doesn't have as much smell to it. I need to get camera one. I need to clean these now. Give me 1 second. looks terrifying. It turns the sink black. Not for long, just like for a brief moment. Alright. There's still cream and stuff in there that needs to be cleaned out with like actual soap. So I'm not going to use those again tonight. And then these, I may still be able to do some R&D. What I really wanted was for like the little droplets to come out of these to maintain their shape, so that I could have little like orbs sort of on the drink. I feel like the only way that I'm going to get that to work is if I make an egg white cocktail. So I can make a campfire sour. A fake campfire sour with less fire, maybe. Typically, the way that we were taught to make a campfire sour was to start by using a smoked glass, and the way that you would make a smoked glass at my restaurant was that we would create like a small like fire, pretty much, out of cinnamon sticks, and then we'd torch those until they caught fire, and then you'd snuff it out by putting a glass upside down on top, a cold glass ideally. That way the soot and the ash actually adheres to the inside of the glass, because that's where the scent and the flavor comes from. And then you would make your sour, and you would pour it on top of that with some ice. That seems like a whole lot of extra steps, especially since it's going to take some extra steps to make the sweet cream. Also, maybe it's just that this isn't the best tool, because it seems like there's no gentle way to get the stuff to come out. Maybe what I should do... Hold on. Clean out this glass again. Maybe what I should do is I should just use a spoon to ladle it in. Ironically, it does sort of maintain its shape, but because the whisk it around. Because the activated charcoal, because the powder is so fine, and this may be true of the chai spices that I have in the pumpkin, because those are ground so fine, those fine particles that are on the surface of those droplets, they immediately want to just like go up to the surface of the drink, and that's what's making it cloudy. And then, if you give it any amount of time, it just turns black on its own. Maybe I could do a color-changing drink that turns black over time. I just don't know how I would hide that from Jason, and from everyone, because I would like for it to be a surprise. I'll try one more thing. Let me see what happens if I put it at the bottom of the glass. Let me see what happens if I remember where I put the glass. Alright, this might work better if the glass is dry also. Do you know why bartenders do this, by the way, even if we don't need to clean glasses? And we're not cleaning these, typically we're polishing them if you see us doing that behind the bar. Most bartenders actually do that to appear busy, because we get tipped more if we look busy. Oh, there's an idea. Hold on. Let me try a different shot glass. What if I did an inverted shot like this, and then when you pull it out, the drink just turns black? It would have to be, I would have to make it neat. The other thing I don't like about doing drinks like that is the guest has to reach into the drink to pull the shot glass out. Also, it's glass on glass, which is dangerous for a whole lot of other reasons. But let's see. Let me see if I can do this. This, by the way, is the shot glass that had a little bit more of that activated charcoal in it. So it is going to be a lot more sludge-like. I think when I remake this, I would probably, if I wanted to go with this gimmick specifically, I would probably add a little bit more whole milk to the sweet cream recipe to make it a little bit more liquidy. Originally I was trying to avoid that because I wanted it to be dense so that it would settle over the rest of the drinks. Cool. So while this is probably thick enough for me to just turn it upside down, if you're trying to do this at home, the safe way to do it is to put your shot glass right side up and then put your other glass over it like that, and then flip it like that. Now, let's pour some water in there and see what happens. Actually, I've got a better idea. I'm going to use some milk instead. I'll be right back. So here's that issue that I was talking about before. Now, you have to reach into the drink to grab the shot glass, which is just not an ideal system in my opinion. It's proof of concept. More that I was trying to make sure that the drink wouldn't immediately just like leak out. And that's probably just residual from all the other times I've used the same glass. Let me see what it looks like underneath. Some of the milk is getting in the shot glass, but not very much of the black and sweet cream is getting out. Let me see what happens if I lift this up. Nothing. Yeah, this stuff is so dense. It's so thick. You know what, though? Over some milk, it does look interesting. Not spooky, just interesting. Alright. That's going to take a lot more R&D to figure out. If you're not keen on using activated charcoal, or you don't know where to get it and you don't want to order it, another alternative that you can find at most culinary stores would be squid ink, which is perfectly safe to ingest, but it does typically have kind of like a saline or brine, like a salty flavor to it. I might use that in like a spooky, dirty martini. If I did it over... Do I have any Averna? I do. And I have rye whiskey. And I have bitters. Alright. I'm gonna make a stirred cocktail. Fun fact, actually, by the way, I haven't had a cocktail in like 3 weeks, which is a long time for me. Rye. And then some Averna. And then I'm just gonna grab some bitters. Cool. I'm just gonna make myself. This is a classic drink, by the way. It's called a Black Manhattan. It's just a regular Manhattan with Averna instead of sweet vermouth. So, 2 ounces of your rye whiskey, and then 1 ounce of your Averna Amaro. You can see it's already giving it that cola sort of color. And then you would do 2 dashes of your bitters, but I have 2 different bitters, so I'm going to try to just do 1 dash of each. Really like the color on this drink as well. And since I have ice behind the bar, you can smell the Averna. It smells so good. Instead of putting it in the shot, what if you pile it up and use the shot as a cover? You mean like layer it in the rocks glass and then... I'm confused. I feel like I need to see a diagram to understand that. Which is probably my fault. Grab my julep strainer. This is one of my favorite parts every time I make a cocktail here at the bar. Oh yeah, there we go. Consistency's perfect. There. You can probably tell why it's called a Black Manhattan. You see how it gets very inky? Now, if I could float... By the way, it tastes delicious, if anyone's wondering. It tastes phenomenal. If I could float this on top. It tastes good enough that I don't want to ruin it. Put you back. My sock came off for a second. There's the flare camera for everybody. I'm still trying to figure this out. Instead of putting it in the shot, what if you pile it up? It sounds like you mean like layer it, but then I don't know what you're using the shot glass for. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I like the idea of doing an egg white cocktail. Because this stuff smells good enough that you won't be able to detect the egg whites at all. I'll rinse these out really quick. After cleaning those shot glasses, what I've learned is that I didn't even need to use half of the activated charcoal that I actually used. Basically, you put however much charcoal you need on the on the bottom of the rocks glass and cover it with the shot so it doesn't stick. So, that actually makes a lot of sense. So what you're talking about is putting I mean, you mean to put the cream at the bottom, right? Not just the powdered charcoal, but put the cream at the bottom and then put the shot glass over like a dollop of cream. Actually, that might work. I think for that I may get squid ink to do it that way, or get a squid ink paste. Because the sweet cream, I'd really like to use the sweet cream because it's just like a flex to be able to make it, or to know how to make it, even though it's not that hard. That may be something that I do on a live stream. What day's today? Tuesday? I may come back on Wednesday with squid ink and try some variations with that to make some black cocktails. Because I may be, like, it'd be relatively easy to make like a black shot and then do an inversion. It'd have to be a stirred cocktail served neat in a rocks glass. I'm trying to figure out exactly. No, actually it wouldn't have to be, because you could. Well, this is a margarita glass, but if I had a martini glass, it would work the same way. And this, because the shot glass actually pokes out of the top, you wouldn't need to stick your fingers into the drink to pull it out. Feasibly, you could just grab it like that. And a glass like this would probably create a better visual of the whole thing just becoming foggy. It's a process. Another thing I want to try just for fun is using the activated charcoal in a latte. Because there were a bunch of different ways that we would change the color of our cocktails, our coffee drinks when I was still a barista. We used beet juice to make it red, we used activated charcoal to make it black, and matcha powder to make it green. So we had a bunch of different styles of stuff that we could do. So we used the beet juice during Valentine's Day, and then we would use activated charcoal for Halloween, and then the matcha, we just always had matcha, so we would make matcha lattes. Well, that is everything that I wanted to test, and then some. And by the way, Amir, thank you for that advice. I'm going to test that out next time that I'm live, and I'm going to come back with some squid ink. But that is it for tonight. Short bar stream. I had some stuff that I wanted to test out. It's been awesome. You guys have been awesome. Thank you all for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. Thanks for all of your help and support. Hopefully, I've been helpful and supportive as well, since that's why I do everything that I do here. There should be a new YouTube video tonight, and there should be 1 or 2 TikToks tomorrow, and one of them should be a story time, like the kind that I used to do, which I recorded today. So, again, guys, thank you for being here. The next live stream is going to be tomorrow, 7 p.m. EST. It's going to be a gaming live stream from my home studio that we've just, I would say, renovated, because it's come a long way, and there may be an extra mic set up over there. But I do need to grab extra stuff from here, which is why I'm cutting this one a little bit short. Again, guys, thank you for being here. Hopefully I see you all tomorrow. Until then, good night, everyone.